Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 10 based on novel. So let's start. How do you feel? The Golden Dragon King looked at Xiao Yan's exit from the strange state and asked, because he just knew that Xiao Yan had entered a different dimension and didn't bother him, that was what he had to go through to inherit fighting skills. 7 foot you immortal. Master's ruler's ruler is really strong. Xiao Yan's eyes were a little blurry as he exited from the strange state. It was obvious that the cultivation method of the 7th layer heaven-shattering ruler had already been imprinted in his mind. And it suits you very well, said the Golden Dragon King with a smile. Your different fire eternal ancient ruler is the hardest ruler between heaven and earth. It has been tempered by the different fire for thousands of years, it has long been as hard as iron, and it also contains the special flame power of the different fire. When the Sky Ruler is displayed, it will only increase your growth stronger. The Golden Dragon King said to Xiao Yan with a smile. What the master said is very true, since that's the case, it's not too late, let's start practicing the first level. Xiao Yan was also amazed at the power of this method. The 7th level of breaking the sky, the first level, the 3-step swimming ruler. 1 step is close, 2 steps are back, 3 steps are attacking, you can advance or retreat. Xiao Yan's mind echoed the method of cultivation. The ancient ruler of the eternal fire of Xiao Yan slowly appeared in Xiao Yan's hand. It seemed that after the tempering just now, the ancient ruler of the eternal fire was extremely heavy. Although this weight is not worth mentioning to Xiao Yan, it has indeed become heavier, and after careful feeling, the ancient ruler of different fire seems to have become able to suppress himself under the special tempering of the 7-foot wandering immortal senior just now. The grudge. Xiao Yan is now in the late stage of the 3-star Do Emperor, and the breath of this ancient ruler of different fires on his back has been compressed into a 1-star Do Emperor. However, Xiao Yan didn't take it seriously, suppressing his own strength was nothing more than a good thing, and it was better to have some means when going out. This can't help but remind Xiao Yan of the Xian Chongxi Indo-Chi continent, and its effect seems to be exactly the same. After pondering for a while, without hesitation, Xiao Yan held the ancient ruler of eternal fire in both hands, ready to start practicing. 7th layer breaking the sky ruler, pay attention to fast, ruthless and accurate, make quick shots, quickly approach the target, attack with ruthlessness, 1 blow is fatal, shot with accuracy, and hit the key point. The Golden Dragon King slowly enlightened. Hearing this, Xiao Yan sat down with his legs crossed, and carefully felt the cultivation experience of the first Kai of the 7th layer of breaking the sky. According to the experience of the 7-footed Yuxian Senior, the first Kai is about the echo of the human ruler, that is, to make the ruler resonate with oneself, in order to exert the greatest power of the first Kai. How can I make it resonate with me? Xiao Yan stroked the ancient ruler of eternal fire and felt a hint of warmth from it. Different fire eternal ancient ruler, different fire eternal ancient ruler. Xiao Yan muttered to himself. He suddenly closed his eyes and sighed, mobilizing the fire attribute vindictive energy of his whole body and pouring out towards the strange fire eternal ancient ruler in his hand. The eternal fire eternal ruler that was still in Xiao Yan's hand suddenly made a buzzing sound after passing through the huge collection of fire attribute fighting chi, as if it was greeting Xiao Yan happily. Success! At first, Xiao Yan wondered how to resonate with the ancient ruler of Yihuaheng, but then he thought about it, since the ancient ruler of Yihuaheng is a product of Yihua, the affinity for Yihua is quite similar. Gao, only then did Xiao Yan's later scene happen. Unexpectedly, Xiao Yan smiled with satisfaction. Feeling the buzzing sound emanating from the ancient ruler of Yihuaheng in his hand, Xiao Yan also got up immediately, and held the ancient ruler of Yihuaheng tightly with both hands. Lots and lots of colorful flames around. The entire stone chamber was surprisingly quiet, as if even the energy between heaven and earth had stopped at this moment. In the stone room, Xiao Yan stood quietly, as if a statue was motionless, and the ancient ruler of eternal fire in his hand constantly exuded an astonishing aura. 7th layer breaking the sky ruler, the first foot. The 3-step swimming ruler. I saw that the original Xiao Yan was like a teleportation. The first step was moving towards the front, the ruler changed horizontally, the second step was moving horizontally, the ruler was moving vertically, and the third step was moving horizontally. With the overwhelming aura, the void in the stone room was criticized for a slight crack. With Xiao Yan's 3 feet falling into the void in front of him, the entire stone room seemed to have completely solidified at this moment, and a sense of silence came from the 9 serenities. The ruler fell from Xiao Yan's hand, as if like a hurricane swept out. 3 steps. Every move and where the ruler passed brought a huge aura of destruction, and the space was criticized for shattering. Moreover, this was caused by Xiao Yan's deliberately suppressing his strength. If Xiao Yan did not suppress his strength, I am afraid that this stone room would not be able to withstand such a powerful force of destruction. This immortal-level fighting skill is so terrifying. Feeling the resonance between the ruler and himself, Xiao Yan also nodded with satisfaction. The fighting skills of the seven-layered sky-breaking ruler are really what he needs now. It is not only powerful but also easy to handle. In general, they can suppress their own strength. Although the ancient Ulnabone of Yihuaheng can suppress his own strength, when the ancient ruler of Yihuaheng falls off, that is when Xiao Yan is really strong. Yeah. It's not bad, it was the first time that such a powerful offensive could be released. The Golden Dragon King also said to Xiao Yan with satisfaction. Time passed day by day, and 5 days passed in a blink of an eye. Xiao Yan also practiced diligently on the first Kai of the 7th level breaking sky during these 5 days. According to your current method, you can't give in too much against the 4-star Do D, and it may even be fatal with one blow. Not bad, not bad. The Golden Dragon King has also carefully watched Xiao Yan's practice on the first foot of the 7th layered sky-shattering ruler in the past few days. It was because he had practiced similar fighting skills before, but he was able to achieve a little in just 5 days, which really made the Golden Dragon King look at Xiao Yan in a different light. I should be able to try that when this kid reaches the 7-star Do Emperor. The Golden Dragon King looked at Xiao Yan and couldn't help but feel a little confident. I'm practicing for the last time. Xiao Yan had an idea in his heart, and he was also starting to move. In the quiet stone room, the spiritual energy of heaven and earth seemed to be stagnant. In Xiao Yan's shouting, the stable space in the stone room was also shattered by the ancient ruler of the different fire. Then Xiao Yan nodded in satisfaction, and put the strange fire. The Hangu ruler changed his appearance slightly, put his back behind him, and repaired the broken spaces. This is always someone else's training room. Others can't repay someone else's tattered stone room by cultivating by themselves. This kid. The Golden Dragon King couldn't help laughing when he saw Xiao Yan's cautious appearance, but he couldn't hide his pride from the bottom of his heart, as if he was sighing that Xiao Yan's temperament was good. Okay, since the repair is complete, we're almost done in retreat. Xiao Yan wiped the sweat on his forehead and said. But you forgot one thing before this. Remember that man in black? When the Golden Dragon King was speaking, Xiao Yan found that the Golden Dragon King still had a pitch-black scroll in his hand. The one who killed the Mu family? Xiao Yan also looked at the smiling Golden Dragon King in surprise. Yes, at that time, my master used his own hands to get rid of the ghost, and when he was collecting some scattered souls, the master seemed to find something, but Xiao Yan was too weak at that time and forgot. Now, after Shizu said this, I suddenly got a strong interest. I wanted to come to the level of the man in black who said that the Mu family had meddled with things that shouldn't be touched, and that so-called shouldn't be touched. Things are not ordinary things. Is this what the man in black said? Xiao Yan also stared blankly at the pitch-black scroll. Yes, this is what the man in black said, and at the same time I think it was the thing that caused the Mu family to be destroyed. The Golden Dragon King said slowly. In this world, there are countless strange things in the world, but everyone knows the ideal of innocence and guilt. If you have treasures and are known to others without sufficient strength, it will only attract others to hunt and kill, like the Mu family. There are so many. Hold it, you can try to open it with all your strength. The Golden Dragon King threw the pitch-black scroll to Xiao Yan, obviously wanting him to comprehend it himself. In Xiao Yan's hand, there was an inexplicable force that was terrifyingly passed down from the scroll, but when Xiao Yan wanted to open it, he couldn't open it no matter what. Seeing this, Xiao Yan also knew the extraordinariness of this scroll, but he was not helpless and immediately turned his huge soul power towards the scroll. Touch! A slight vibration came from Xiao Yan's hand. Obviously, Xiao Yan's soul power just now failed. In other words, the pitch-black scroll in Xiao Yan's hand actually repelled Xiao Yan's soul power. There are only two possibilities. One is that the soul power of the person who made this scroll is much stronger than Xiao Yan's, and Xiao Yan's soul power is not enough, so he can't open the scroll. There is also a need for a special method to open. Xiao Yan was also a character who refused to admit defeat, and then Xiao Yi summoned it, and the flames devoured the scroll away. Boom boom boom. The pitch-black scroll let the scorching flames bake without any response. This? Xiao Yan also looked at the Golden Dragon King helplessly at this time. This was the first time such an unheard-of phenomenon. How could there be such a scroll? Xiao Yan wondered in his heart. Okay, don't be depressed. If this scroll was easily resolved by you now, it would not be targeted by the demons. The Golden Dragon King also saw that Xiao Yan was helpless, so he said, Master, is there any way for you to open this scroll? Xiao Yan looked at the Golden Dragon King and asked, I think it should be possible to deal with this scroll with the power of my master. Yes, but if I open it up, the great opportunity in this will not belong to you. After speaking, he looked at Xiao Yan with a smile. Ah? A big chance? Xiao Yan was at a loss at this time. This scroll could not be opened. What was the big chance that the master said? Okay, don't complain. It's normal that this scroll can't be opened, because opening this scroll requires the power of a holy flame. So we have to prepare the medicinal pill that devours the holy flame first. 7 flame flowers, Shu Shengdan, blood spirit ice liquid. Furthermore, from my experience, this scroll should be an inheritance left by a supreme power. The Golden Dragon King said slowly. Do you need holy flame to open it inheritance? Xiao Yang stared at the pitch-black scroll in front of him, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help closing. Then we'll go look for the holy flame when it's settled here. With a holy flame, plus the strange fire on your body, something very interesting will definitely happen. The Golden Dragon King looked at Xiao Yang maliciously. For some reason, Xiao Yang always felt that he kept falling into the path that the Golden Dragon King designed for him. Okay, don't be depressed, boy, there are still things you need to solve now. You forgot Guban Pei Yuan pill? The Golden Dragon King said slowly. I'm really curious about the secret of Qing Yuan that you are so optimistic about. Xiao Yang listened to the Golden Dragon King holding Qing Yuan, and he also understood that with his own master's eyes, he would definitely not deceive himself, but that Qing Yuan, what secret is there in Yuan? Xiao Yang couldn't help but wonder. If that's the case, let's go out. Xiao Yang stood up and cleaned up the dust on his body, then put on his back some pitch-black eternal fire ruler, and slowly walked towards the stone outside. Huh? The sunlight is really warm. Xiao Yang had just come out of the stone room. It was already morning outside, and the rays of sunlight shone on Xiao Yang's body, causing Xiao Yang, who had been cultivating, to feel his body for a while. Easy. Young Master Xiao, you're out of the gate. Miss instructed the youngest to wait for the young master here, and take the young master there after he is out of the gate. A girl who looked more delicate said respectfully to Xiao Yang, then Lao will lead the way. Xiao Yang also smiled politely at the young woman. On the path of the ghost, the maid led Xiao Yang to the hall. Young Master Xiao is really young and promising. No wonder the young lady is so fascinated by him. The maid looked at Xiao Yang and said, What does Ji Yu Liang mean? Xiao Yang was also at a loss at this time, not knowing why the maid in front of him said this to him. Young Master Xiao took the liberty, but isn't it obvious? It's rare to see a young lady being so tempted by a man these years. The maid said slowly. Xiao Yang was also shocked when he heard it, and obviously understood why Yueru asked that before her retreat. Hey, there are so many infatuated people in the world. I already have a family. I'm afraid I can only live up to Miss Yu's good intentions. Xiao Yang thought to himself. To be honest, Xiao Yang is not a person who is not a promiscuous person. He is just a simple friend to Yueru. How can I know that it will be such a relationship? It is really a headache. She followed the maid into the family hall, where Yueru and Yueyu were discussing something. Little friend Xiao Yang has left? It seems that the strength of this retreat has increased again. Yuyu laughed. Obviously, under the strength of the Yu family patriarch 5-star Do Di, Xiao Yang still finds it difficult to hide his strength. It's a fluke. But that's okay, Xiao Yang also laughed. During the days when little friend Xiao Yang was in retreat, that young lady Qing Yuan woke up once, but she has been in a coma since then. Even if we hired a lot of doctors, it was really impossible. However, there are traces of the Emperor-level Dragon Demon Core. It is said that the ruins of the beast are about to be opened, and it is rumored that the Emperor-level Dragon Demon Core is also in it. Yu sat on the main seat and looked at Xiao Yang. The remains of monsters, what is that? Xiao Yang was also new to the ramp, so he couldn't help but ask a few more questions. You all go down. Yu ordered. Yueru father and daughter and Xiao Yang were left in the hall. Yu looked at Xiao Yang, who was confused, and said with a smile, This demonic beast mountains is also a relatively famous fierce place near Qingcheng on the profound spirit continent. For some reason, the cold air is extremely thick there. The sky is covered with the sun, and if you run wild, you will only get lost in it, and there are many powerful and bloodthirsty monsters in the mountains which are quite troublesome to deal with. This time, the remains of monsters are located in this monster mountain. It is rumored that there are immortal-level fighting skills and countless martial arts pills in the remains of the beasts this time, but more importantly, there are some differences in the ruins this time. The people who went in to explore have no whereabouts. I don't know what happened. Oh. Aren't beasts and humans old enemies? How can the ruins in the Beast Mountain range allow us humans to get involved? Xiao Yan said in a puzzled way. Little friend Xiao Yan doesn't know that the remains of beasts in the Warcraft Mountains are actually left by an almighty. It is rumored that the almighty hated beasts by nature and set a ban. You can't go in there. Furthermore, the Emperor-level demon core that Xiao Yang needs is also among them. Yu also relieved Xiao Yang's worries. Father, I don't know what's in the beast ruins this time. Yueru also said. Yu smiled lightly and said, a long time ago, in this world of the Great Thousand World, there were countless strong men who fell. The place where the blood of the Do-Di strong men fell, turned into a place of ruins. There are all kinds of mysteries all over the opportunity, attracting countless geniuses. Compete, just because if you can get the Emperor blood, you can become an emperor and build a holy foundation. Secret. Hearing Yu's old voice, Xiao Yang was a little dazed, just because of all that, something out of his understanding. What is an emperor? Xiao Yang said with some difficulty, but because these two words seemed to contain a great charm, even if they were spoken out of his mouth, the source chi in his body shook a little. Yu thought for a while, then smiled. That's too far away for you. You just need to know that the so-called emperor is the strength of the owner of the peak of the seven-star Do Emperor. A drop of blood of an emperor can turn the ocean into a sea. When the emperor fell, his blood and remains of the emperor fell into the sky and the earth, thus forming some ruins. And on our Xianling continent, there is a place of ruins that exists in the Monster Beast Mountains outside the city. Xiao Yang's pupils could not help shrinking. After talking for a long time, he finally got to the point. Yu smiled and said, now there are 8 cities within 100 miles of our Qingcheng, and almost all the geniuses of the younger generation are preparing for the ruins and practicing hard. I heard that the young master from Wucheng has been practicing hard for this for several years. Obviously, he is bound to get it. The other big families, the proud sons of the big families who have done their best to cultivate, are also dispatched one after another, and what they do is to win the great fortune in the land of ruins. Once you win such a great fortune, the Xianling royal family in the Xianling continent will notice you and lead you. The Xianling royal family? Xiao Yang asked blankly. He knew that the Xianling continent was the name of the world he established. On the vast continent, it was only one of them, but the so-called Xianling imperial family came from not heard. It's normal if you haven't heard of it, it's obviously known to a few people. Yu smiled and said, in short, this Xianling royal family is the ruler of the Xianling continent. Their big hands cover the world, and you are the ants below. Xiao Yang gave a wry smile. That is indeed a too far level, and with his present, he cannot reach it at all. However, after saying this, Xiao Yang can be considered to know the power of the ruins. Even the Wucheng and many other cities, the proud sons of the great family, are very coveted. It is conceivable. What kind of good fortune is that? With chance. But the ruins are so important, wouldn't the various forces send strong people? Xiao Yang suddenly asked, if those cities directly send Do-Di strong, or even stronger strong, then no matter how strong the young proud son, I'm afraid I can't compete. The land of ruins has the power of the emperor. The stronger the person, the stronger the suppression they will receive when they enter it. Yu said with a smile, if those strong people are not afraid of being beheaded by some little guys because of oppression, they should not dare to enter easily. He stared at Xiao Yang, a ray of light flashed across his turbid eyes, and said with a smile, little friend, if the great fortune of the Holy Land falls into the hands of the heaven's arrogant sons in other cities, I am sure that what you want to get the chance of the Emperor-level Dragon Demon Core to save others will become extremely low, extremely low. Yu's voice paused, and then said again, of course, with your current strength, if you want to that guy, I'm afraid it will be difficult. How is it? Do you have the guts to have a coveted heart for that great good fortune? Yu said with a half-smile, as if she was looking forward to Xiao Yang's reaction. Xiao Yang closed his eyes slightly and took a deep breath. After a while, he slowly opened his eyes, and there was an intriguing gleam in his eyes. Then the prided ones other than Qingcheng were already ahead of him. Yu reading www. UKangsha.com. If someone else has captured the great fortune in the ruins, then Qing Yuan's secret will not be released. Moreover, the mission on his body is also heavy: to find his clansman, the Golden Dragon King, to regain his strength, to collect holy flames, and more importantly, to find Sana and the others. All this requires strength. One step at a time, one step at a time. Xiao Yan wanted to catch up and save others, so he had to seize every opportunity. Of course, in the ruins, there are many powerful people from all walks of life, noble families, and proud people of the big families. Compared with them, Xiao Yan seems to have no advantage, but since he came to Dodi continent, he began to practice the complete burning Ju. Since that day, there has never been a lack of courage. So, Xiao Yan looked at Yu Yu, who was sitting on it, solemnly clasped his fists and saluted. Xiao Yan thanked the seniors for the guidance. He was very fortunate that he met Yu Yu here, so that he did not miss the chance to touch the great creation. Then this so-called chance. I, Xiao Yan, can't ask for anything. After speaking, Xiao Yan had a bright smile on his face. Ha ha ha. I knew that you are not simple. How can you be an ordinary person with a fire elf? Strange thing. And this time in the ruins, the little girl also needs something. I have already given her the map. I will ask Xiao Yu to take care of it this time. Yu Yu said slowly. Pack up and leave today. After speaking, he walked out of the lobby, leaving Xiao Yan and Yu looking at each other. I'm going to trouble you this time too. Yu vegetarian waved her hand and bowed to Xiao Yan with a slight smile on her face. Thank you, Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan also understood what she meant and immediately left the lobby with a smile. The second day. Wuching, in front of the main hall, many servants are also looking up to the sky. In the towering pavilion, a vigorous red fighting chi rises into the sky. The fighting chi is like a brilliant sun, exuding extremely hot fluctuations, and even the air is scorching hot. Burned and twisted. Congratulations to send your son off. I wish you a successful return. Many voices came from below. The red fighting chi roared out, like a cloud of fire, and on the cloud of fire, a slender figure stood with his hands behind his back. With a look of contempt, he ignored the many people who saw him off, and just turned his eyes to a certain room in the depths of the mansion. You? After a while, he withdrew his gaze, no longer hesitated, stepped on the red grudge, and disappeared into the sky amid all the attention. Sword King City. Beneath a lonely peak like a blade. A figure walked out of the mountain step by step. As he got closer, he realized that it was a young man in a grey robe. However, there was a black cloth wrapped around his eyes, invisible. There was a frightening aura. Behind him is a black sword. The black sword is simple, as if it has no front, but there is an astonishing sword energy which radiates out. The stones on the ground where he walked are all it cracked quietly, and the fracture was as smooth as a mirror. He raised his head, his eyes, which were covered by the black cloth, seemed to be directed to a distant place. The land of ruins, he murmured, his voice extremely hoarse. I need a real opponent to sharpen my sword. That Jian Kai and that Wu Huan from Wuqing should be good opponents, right? Hearing the words in his mouth, the black sword behind him vibrated slightly, as if he couldn't wait to compete with the top figures among his peers. City of 10,000 beasts. Roar? There was a deafening beast roar resounding from the city, and then people in the whole city saw a huge winged beast flapping its wings and soaring into the air. On top of the winged beast, a delicate young girl was sitting on her knees. Her long green hair and her eyes were full of agility and a quirky appearance. On her tender shoulders, an ice-blue bird was beating and chirping, and there seemed to be boundless coldness in the pair of bird pupils. Hee, Xiao Han, we can finally go out to play. The girl touched the bird, her face full of excitement. I heard that the ruins are really fun. I went to a lot of great people. No one of the same generation in the city of 10,000 beasts can beat us. I hope those guys won't be too boring. Let's go. The girl shouted loudly, and the winged beast let out a low roar. Its wings vibrated, its speed skyrocketed, and the wind flew away. Bang bang bang. In a city, a bald man dashed out from the city wall, and a long spear stood out behind him. The great fortune is mine. The bald head shouted and disappeared like a ghost, apparently rushing to the ruins. Boom. In a martial arts courtyard. The violent fighting chi burst out and swept across, sending dozens of figures flying upside down in embarrassment. Ha ha, you are too weak, it's boring, tell my father I'm going to the ruins, it's boring to stay here. In that chaos, there was only one figure standing in the field. His body was strong, like an iron tower. Like a ferocious ape. He grinned and laughed at the crowd, then without any hesitation, he stomped the soles of his feet, and his figure rose into the sky. After a few jumps, he disappeared. Looking at his leaving figure, everyone in the Martial Arts Institute breathed a sigh of relief, and then burst into cheers. This monster has finally left, finally, I don't have to suffer from him anymore. Those guys who go to the ruins are probably going to be out of luck. Once they are entangled by this lunatic, they will be finished. To the north of Qingcheng, there is a snowy family. Miss, the time has come, the master asked me to inform you that you can leave. Outside a fragrance pavilion, a maid's careful voice sounded. Inside the incense pavilion, on the soft bed, a snow-white body was wrapped in a thin quilt, but even so, it still outlined that extremely enchanting curve. Hearing the sound, the person in the quilt sat up, the quilt slipped off, and suddenly revealed a delicate body like mutton fat, with long hair hanging down in front of him, covering the thrilling plumpness. Come in. She raised her little face, only to see that her little face was extremely charming, like a goblin, which made people's hearts skip a beat. A maid carefully pushed the door and came in. Seeing the person on the bed, even as a woman, she couldn't help but turn her gaze on the extremely domineering figure. The maid entered the room, fetched her clothes, and waited on her to get dressed. The long black skirt covered her body, which highlighted her exquisite figure, which was slender and plump. The curve alone was enough to attract all the attention. Thank you, Xiaobi. Tell my father that when I go out this time, I will definitely find him a perfect son-in-law to come back. The little demon girl grinned and sweetened the maid's face. Miss, the master said that we must obtain good fortune. The maid reminded helplessly. What kind of good fortune can be better and more worry-free than finding a good husband? The woman in the colorful skirt blinked and giggled. Okay, let's go. But she didn't laugh too much. She waved her little hand and moved her delicate body, only to see her figure appearing and disappearing from time to time. After a few breaths, she disappeared into the distance. The maid looked at her ghostly movement and couldn't help but sighed in admiration. Mrs. Movement skills are among the top among the peers in the Xianling continent. This is a gloomy place where bones are buried. White bones are piled up in the mountains, and the whole world is filled with death. Click. Suddenly, a voice came from the mountain, and I saw a group of people walking out. The pedestrian steps were stiff, their bodies were blue, and their eyes were empty. When they looked carefully, they found that they didn't have the slightest vitality. Like the living dead. They carried a large sedan chair on their shoulders, and the sedan body was white, but on it, there was a pattern of ghost faces dripping with blood, exuding a sinister and eerie atmosphere. A cloudy wind whistled, and the white curtains were rolled up. Under the white curtain, a young face that was pale and bloodless emerged, his eyes were grey, and his body seemed to be wrapped in the aura of death, which made people shudder. 100 ghosts carry the sedan chair. The white sedan chair went away, as if there was a cold voice coming from far away. Yi Wangxing, living people avoid, at the same time. In the entire Xianling continent, many famous geniuses have come from all over the world, and their goals are all the same, all pointing to the land of relics in the center of the continent. So, in the entire Xianling continent, countless gazes came together. Everyone wants to know how wonderful it will be when these many proud young heroes collide together. But no matter what, the current ruins have become the focus of the entire continent. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.